TZ technology is really about a lock and answering a couple of questions, which is how do I control access to my medicine cabinet or my filing cabinet or my gym locker without needing lots of different keys or swipe cards. And further than that, it's also about then how do I control access for other people when I want them to and who I want them to have access to it. So this is really what we focus on. The electronic lock is part of that answer. But most of the electronics on the market today are really just remotely controlled gadgets. The brains are actually in the smartphone app or in a web-based app somewhere around the place. And we see it differently because we believe that the locking device itself should be capable of doing a lot more. It should be capable of communicating. It should be capable of responding differently under different conditions. So the device itself needs to be a truly intelligent locking device, not just a remotely controlled electronic lock. So that what was once just a lock with a key that you turned now becomes actually itself an intelligent device managing access to your container, your space. Our technology is different from other approaches because of two key elements. One is how we actually trigger the lock, and the second is then about converging other technologies around us. Let's start looking at the mechanism. So there are basically today two old school ways of tackling this. One is to use an electric motor, the other is to use an electric solenoid. Now, the problem with these systems is they're pretty dumb. You put power on and the motor turns or the bolt moves. And these tend to consume quite a lot of energy and, of course, are fairly large. It's hard to miniaturize. So our approach is quite different though. We use a technology called shape memory alloys, which is a material that when you put a particularly shaped electric signal through it, it changes shape. So this means that we can miniaturize things. We have much lower power consumption, typically 10%. And so it gives us a much more flexible way of packaging and solving problems for people. Now the second part I mentioned was convergent technology, because we then surround that smart memory system with technologies to bring together a more robust package. So as I said before, the lock mechanism itself needs to be intelligent. So we apply microcontrollers to it. It needs to be wireless, it needs to be battery powered, etc. So by taking that core of a shape memory alloy actuator and putting around convergent layers of technology, that's why a TZ technology solution is different from the conventional approach in the marketplace. When it comes to the user's experience, we believe that a TZ smart device should not require that people have to change the way they like to work and live now. So it needs to be able to fit into their home or their workplace without retraining, without having to change things too much. So the device should be a hidden part of our world, and it should become as easy to use as a dumb lock is now. I mean, it can't get much simpler now, frankly, than using a key. And a lot of the other solutions in the market are more complex than that. The user experience shouldn't be. So we fuse these different technologies to sculpt a solution that fits into the way people work now. So if it is a locker, it doesn't change. You use your swipe card, you walk up, the locker opens. The magic is happening all in behind it. Now, in addition to that, TZ devices are monitoring ambient conditions, who accessed a device, how did they slam the door too hard. So this other information is very important about sculpting the user experience. Bottom line is, it should be transparent, it should be human.